Good morning, folks. We're going to continue that reality check from yesterday's show. We've got a number of items to hit today, and they are all between the Earth and Sun. Starting with our star at spaceweathernews.com, we find the last 24 hours not exactly silent, but without significant eruptions. The most prominent coronal hole is the southern polar extension, but it remains at high latitude. Despite not erupting significantly, the active regions do look complex. This leading group doesn't have tremendously dangerous sunspots, but it is being monitored for development as it turns in. Solar flaring remains low with B flares only. Solar wind is calming even further. Plasma speed under 400 kilometers per second this morning. We're all in the green geomagnetically. Speaking of geomagnetically, good article on how even the induction breakers and defenses against solar storms are incomplete and fail to account for harmonic disruptions and half cycles. Humans have a long way to go to even comprehend how the induction plays out within the systems we've created. And in the greatest induction events, indeed, the world would watch electronic devices fail, melt, catch fire, etc. As commenters mentioned, your cell phone can get calls inside of some Faraday cages, and in the big solar storm, no. A Faraday cage probably isn't going to be enough for pretty much anything. But what would even be the point? There's no internet, no network, no power grid. Sure, you could go off-grid and super insulate all of your solar stuff and generator, but that's just you. You better have a way to silence that generator. And that doesn't count as rebuilding. Even if everyone on Earth knew how to live pre-industrially, we don't all have the tools, and there isn't the access to enough of them. Nobody can make them in the aftermath. Nobody could drive them to you or call to order them. I see people desperately clinging to hopes in Faraday cages and a few years to 20 years of rebuild time in the comments section. Survival mode begins within days of that event. Nobody is going to work or school. Sorry. Folks, it's been a thumping card in climate science this year, the bias reaction to CO2 and the various uncertainties which together propagate errors at tremendous magnitude. But those uncertainties have mostly been about clouds and aerosols. But now we throw internal variability into the mix. It is a new twist added to the climate conundrum cocktail. And of course we do hit that bias every week as well. Excellent identification here of short-term forcing being neglected in their sea surface temperature models. Basically, no matter what they do, the planet just skyrockets in warmth, very unrealistically, and it's because they have their models upside down. The short-term forcings that they have just realized they're missing would be cloud-related and modulated by cosmic rays. That internal variability I mentioned is often mistaken for solar variability, and it's great to see a hint of that identified here. In fact, virtually nobody correctly captures the fluctuations in solar irradiance, and not only is this one of the key items that solar physicists have been screaming at climate scientists about for years, but that's just irradiance. It doesn't even touch the brand new solar particle forcing dataset to be used in future IPCC reports. We cure the uncertainty and correct the bias by properly accounting for the sun and cosmic rays, which are also going into those models for the first time. And last but not least, folks, we saw this as a preprint, hopeful for peer review confirmation, and the Astrophysical Journal. Yeah, that'll do. X700 and X1000 flares from the sun are the 3,000 and 6,000 year scale flare events. And once again, let's remember our flaring cycles. Every 11 years is one sunspot cycle, and we usually get an X10 to X20 like event at least once. In purple, the Carrington event, like 1859, is a centennial level event. The blue below that is the Charlemagne event of the 770s AD, and then walking down through the confirmed longer cycles in today's paper, and of course the only way to explain the isotopes down at the bottom. That cosmic disaster playlist on our channel page is key to understanding this highest level event on the sun. Click Suspicious Observers, find the playlist, and subscribe because we'll do this all again tomorrow. We greatly appreciate your support. The wind maps didn't like me this morning, so we'll just let you get on with your Sunday here. It's 5:30 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open. No fear. Be safe, everyone.